1 second. Yep. Just got to get that last pre-order. Okay, there we go. Hey, welcome to the X1 Legion cast. You could be doing anything, but you're here with us. How's it going, everybody? It's me, Randy. I'm here with Matt. Matt is back. I meant to rhyme there, but I messed that up.
I'm back, baby.
Mitchum here, our steady, faithful workhorse, at it again. And we're joined by LJ. We're talking tournament stuff today. We're talking local tournaments, big tournaments. LVOIS? Yes, S.
Got it in one.
LVOI and LVOIS. Yeah, we're talking about all the good stuff. We'll have a little bit of news too. But how's everybody doing?
Surviving. It hasn't hurricaned in Florida in a while, so life could be worse.
We are under blizzard watch here.
Yeah, so I hear.
Snowpocalypse has come again.
It's really cold.
Yeah. Like the water was refreezing on the windshield.
Yeah.
Like, but faster than the wipers could keep up with it. It was bad.
Wow.
I shouldn't have left the house.
Water freezes, LJ. I don't know if you knew that.
So I went to college in Spokane, Washington, and I remember several lanes when we were doing like field exercises and stuff where it'd be like, all right, go set an ambush over there. And you're laying there for like 45 minutes to an hour in the snow, just like, when does it end? So yeah, I've had my brief run-ins.
Awesome. Well, cool. I guess we'll get into it. As per orders by the U.S. Army, Mitchum, is your table done yet?
No, sorry. I'm letting down the entire U.S. Army as we speak. I have no other update besides my mat, which is actually it's in my closet right now because it was taking up space in my gaming table. But however, we're just gonna scan over that really fast. I have put some paint on some models. And I've based some models. I finally finished basing my third Rebel Trooper squads, just with my indoor base or whatever. So they're not.
He's holding them by their heads so you can't see that they're eyeless.
Yeah.
They have no heads.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and I'm currently almost like halfway done with my sleeper cell guys, my second squad. So just need to find some time to wrap all them up. Yeah, that's about it. I've been playing a lot more than actually hobbying this past couple since the last time we were on, which has been really nice. I've really kind of learned a lot about my list I've been playing. I've only played one list this entire year so far. It has been very enlightening. So
with some changes, with some
slight modifications, mostly like command cards or like I think the only really big change is I added Leia to the list and dropped an ATRT. But I'm 3-2 with it this year, so I feel pretty good. But yeah, I really need to take on my hobby hat and really kind of sit down. My desk is getting full back there, and I keep playing an unpainted Bad Batch, and everyone I play gets onto me. So yeah, sorry, Patrick. I know, but I need to sit down and actually get those guys painted. So yeah.
What happens if you don't follow Army orders as a non?
You know what? I don't want to know, and I have the entire year to figure that out. So I'm sure Jeff and Justin will let me know.
I was gonna say we're gonna call the esports team and ask.
I'm sure it'll.
They'll take your Bad Batch out back, and they'll get shot.
It'll be some sort of physical or probably push-ups or something like that.
Yeah, they'll make you take a PT test.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Matt, you've been moving houses. I would not expect that you have anything done.
Okay, did I say I was going to get 52 models done this year?
You did.
You did. Well, that's on record on the internet.
Okay, so I have not. I'm getting set up though, so hopefully there should be eventually a hobby desk back there, and then I will start. And also, I haven't been able to prime because it's been pretty cold. but we're
I'm gonna
looking.
use that excuse too. It's been
Yeah.
too cold to prime any new models, so yeah.
So I will hopefully get on that. It's supposed to be a little warmer next week. I will try to get some stuff done. I've got some Wookiees to paint to get my army totally done. I added some more shooty Wookiees, so need that, and then also the Fluttercraft, which is somewhere back there. But so I'll work on that. Fluttercraft will get done this year. The Wookiees will get done, and then I have a bunch of other models. So
Nice.
You heard it here, guys. He's gonna get 3 Fluttercrafts done this year.
No, I did not. I will not. But hopefully one. Hopefully one completely painted, and then I'll maybe cross my fingers that there'll be something maybe coming up after Adepticon that I will have to buy. So I'm looking for a new army, AMG. Give me some Gungans,
Gungan
please.
variety.
Please. But yeah, so nothing for me. Hopefully next pod we'll have some progress. So
All right. Oh man, LJ, are you just so busy like trying to see where tables are at to even have time to sit down and put anything together? Or
Putting the stuff together, yes. I did get my crabs and aquas finally after LVO. So I had a great time messing around with those. That was like my hobby zen mode, where I was able to just sit on a table for an afternoon and put stuff together. That felt very good. I know the crabs are fairly monopose, but by God, they picked a good pose, so it was still fun to put them together. And then, the aquas were more posable than I thought, so I was able to mess around with a couple different configurations. Not both leaders don't have the arm up pointing, and I got to fool around a bit with. I tried a running pose or like a in motion pose on one of the aqua droids. So I did that. I put those 2 units together, and then I put a bunch of magnets on miniatures that didn't have magnets. I had a handful of MCP, and then all the Legion stuff I just put together that had that on there. So yeah, the theme of this last month or last 30 days at this point was just kind of appreciation and do a little bit of maintenance. It wasn't really anything super exciting, but I got stuff done that needed to get done, and that felt good.
Yeah,
preparing for future victory.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Well, let's see. I got another scattergun done for Squad 5 of Black Suns.
Nice.
Mag that guy for that squad's almost done. I finished up a Svezda for Halo.
Nice.
And I've been working on painting up some of these X and
Ooh.
one
Yes.
exhaust flip tokens.
Yes.
So
Nice.
these are going to be our new giveaways for the year.
Fantastic.
At least for a while. Maybe Mitchell will actually use these giveaways instead of just giving them away.
It's funny. I've actually promised my POIs that I have painted another tournament, so I'll probably need some more.
Oh my gosh!
So, I know.
I'm gonna start charging you for filament.
Well, you already need to, because you need to print my ATTE for
yeah,
my,
I actually was
table,
about to finish the roll. I was going to tell you when I get the new roll on, then I'll actually, because that thing's going to be huge.
So see, Jeff, Justin, it's not my fault. It's Matt's fault. So just take.
Yeah, he can't do any of the other parts of the table until that one's done.
I need to know how that's going to look on the table first. So
Bamboo Labs, please sponsor.
Yeah, it's going to look good because of the Bamboo Labs printer, so it's going to look great. That's all you need to know.
You're right, it will. Yeah, those exhaust tokens look really good, Randy. I'm glad. I'm happy with the way. I know we've had some back and forth on them, but yeah, I think they turned out really well.
Yes.
And yes, I will use those. I promise. I will.
Okay,
use those.
well, you better win some because I'm not bringing you a set this weekend.
That's fair.
Okay. Cool. Well, I feel like we've all been properly harassed. You out there listening, look yourself in the mirror and say, you can do better. Pick up that paintbrush and put some paint on something.
Or if you need a positive look, be like, I'm doing better than Matt is.
I feel like calling that a low bar would be an over.
The bar is on the ground.
Right on. Okay. I'm ill prepared and I should pull up a picture, but do you guys want to bring up the first of the reprintings that went up on the Asmodee site for the Geonosians?
Yeah, I think it's the reprint with the new box art. And I think the biggest thing is that they included enough models in the unit to have, I think they said up to 3 men's size squads and then 1 full supersize squad. Is that what I understood? Because there's 11 total models in the box now. The art looks wicked. I really like the way the new art. And the more and more I look at the new Legion logo, I think the more and more I like it. But all the box art I've seen has looked really, really cool.
Yeah, I do think it fills the space a little better on the box, just having that
Yeah.
large art, and
Mhm.
you can put them. The boxes look just as good sideways as they do looking on in the front. I've noticed on the shelf.
Yeah,
So, big fan.
yeah. I like
Yeah.
the CIS wrapping on the bottom, so you can tell what you're
Mhm.
getting. And yeah, the side of the box where you'd slide it in looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think everyone is pretty much really pleased with the fact that it comes with 11 models. So you can buy a single box and have enough for a supersized squad if you want to. You don't need to buy 2 boxes for one. I know another game that doesn't do this very well, GW. But that's fine. That's how they make their money, and they're the best at it. So, yeah. What's the back of the box, Randy? Can you? Yeah.
Yeah, so just 1 unit leader. It'd probably be too amazing if you got 2 solo units out of this, I'm guessing, but I suppose the other like true rebel trooper and stormtroopers are going to come like this with the supersize squad size in the box. So I'm wondering if the rebel trooper upgrade pack still exists in the future, if that's a way you could turn said box into 2 units at a cheaper price point. But yeah, I don't know. I think the more models you get kind of matches the price increase to where it doesn't feel too bad.
I think it's interesting, which is it's good. But I think this is where they're going to be consistent. But this is obviously an older product that got released this way first, so I think that implies that they're going to go back and do this to everything as they re-release. So that's good for consistency. I think it's just 1 super squad. The leader's obviously the bottleneck there, but I mean, depending on where you're at, you can get around that. But it'll be the leader, 3 normal guys, 4 extra for the super squad, so that's 8, and then force pike extra guy, sonic cannon.
Yeah.
So that's your 11.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It'll be good.
Is it
the
weird that they
price-
chose Geonosians first to do this too, or is it just because it was like one of the most recent releases?
I don't know if it's like a choice thing or if it's like they get what they can as it becomes up kind of thing.
They ran out of production with the other stuff, so they're just like, oh, just choose this. Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe they had. I mean, obviously this is a different package setup, so it would change the number in the box. I don't know if they just had. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had floating stock or.
I noticed on the like sleeper cell sprues, they kind of have the pegs on the side where the sprues kind of nest into each other.
The
I don't know if the
crabs had
Geos
that
come
too.
like that or if that's a standard for the sprues going forward. So I don't know if maybe they were set up that way already, but yeah, hard to tell.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if Commandos came back. But
yeah, I'm excited. I know Geos can be difficult to assemble, but they're really cool models. So I would like to see see them on the table a little bit more. So
well, cool. Hopefully we see some more stock coming back in soon. The boxes are looking good. But we're going to keep it rolling with some CIS. If you did not listen to last episode, Mitchum and I started the definitive, undefinitive command card ranking system of the Tower of Power. and everyone loves it. Everyone agrees with every single ranking, but we will hear challenges to that. But we're going to also keep it in CIS, and today we're going to go through Count Dooku, the Pajama Lord,
Woo!
and we're going to add his cards to the command tower. But first, let me throw this on the screen for the visual listeners. And Matt, you weren't here when we started this. LJ, you're our guest. Is there anything on the existing tower that you would say, it needs to maybe move a little bit?
Well, looking at it, the droid ones aren't in the top like 4 spots, so I have some issue with that, which I'm sure we're going to rectify with Dooku here in a moment. I really respect mechanized incursion a lot more, and CIS as a whole, I think, is getting a lot more mechanized these days. I feel like with droidicas hitting the scene a little more often, it was maybe getting more utility, and then now that you have aquas and crabs in the mix, I think the disrespect is clear, and I understand why you brought me on today.
I think we had a fellow
Represent.
we had a fellow Spice Boy bring up this mechanized incursion as well, and I think this was a fault of Mitchum and I not playing CIS ever. So where's mechanized possibly going up to? Because I was told some reasons here.
So I know it's not as splashy, because like I feel like a command card definitely has to have that like raw sex appeal that make it worth playing in a 5 round game, 5-turn game now, you know. However, I think with, like I said, aquas being a hot ticket item, crabs being a hot ticket item, and then being able to then better control the rest of your lists and still possibly give an order out somewhere else. The Dooku, B1 Focus, and now mechanized lists that I have been playing have all benefited greatly from it, and I would bump it up just a couple of spots between discretion and aggression. I'm not taking over your lists. I think I think you have aggression and discretion flipped. I would prioritize aim tokens over dodge token these days, because you're not running the pure pike spams of Shadow Collective of old. I think it's a lot better list now, and Shadow Collective is better on the offense than the defense. But it would fall between those 2 cards no matter the order. That's my hot take.
Interesting.
It's not sexy, but it gets the job done, which is the motto of CIS these days.
It's built for efficiency.
It's efficiency,
not comfort.
That is, the CIS mantra. That sure, they have cool things, the splashy plays, and we're about to talk about one of those with Count Dooku. But there's some lists it just makes them tick. It's great.
I think I'm okay with mechanized going up.
Oh, definitely. I was actually, this card was played against me in one of my games I just played yesterday, and I realized that I can't read very well, and it's not whenever an order is issued from the card. It's just whenever any vehicle is issued an order, they get to give out another order. So when you have a lot of like direct, like AI or direct, like CIS does have nowadays, it just allows you to give out 2 orders instead. So yeah, fully on board. That is totally our mistake, Randy. I'll take the blame on that one, I guess, because I don't know.
I'm okay with this.
Your sins are forgiven.
Okay. I've got a couple.
And Randy, I sorry, hang on, Matt. Sorry,
Okay.
I kind of agree with LJ on the aggression flip. I think, yeah, the aggressive plays make more sense with it being a range 2 banned game now. Prioritizing aims over dodges is probably pretty solid.
I think I'm just okay with it because my last few games I've played, I've actually taken aggression and not discretion. So I feel like that would be a weird argument for me to make. But that's mostly just been because, like, oh, the 2 card here is the easiest one for me to swap out, and then that is just enough to order buses and Shadow Collective, which is typically all I'm wanting to give orders to, unless it's going to Mall or Bosk or something. So I'm fine with that as well.
Okay, Matt.
The new 9, 10, 11 is aggression, mechanized, discretion.
Okay. I, in my opinion, would move Attack of the Clones at least below Assault. And I know apparently this was discussed in the last episode. I was not here.
I have no horse in this race. We can move all the Gar cards to the bottom if you want.
I just always, especially because at least in my experience with Gar, there's usually you're playing heroes, and you usually want those heroes to have orders. Attack of the Clones doesn't do that. And I just feel like it's even now with 5 rounds. It's like, am I playing Attack of the Clones? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see cases for me to use Assault. Assault, I feel like has enough utility it gets used. But I feel like Attack the Clones is like a pretty niche pick. I feel like it'd be like clone commander focused armies with clones as commanders. Then that's a good pick. But I feel like every army outside of that, it's probably not as good as Assault because you want your commander to have an order.
That's fair. I think a lot of my argument was it was better in Legacy Legion just because it was such a great turn 1 play. With that being said, though, I still think I still like to play it because it's really good in other lists that don't include a Jedi named Anakin. And yes, there are other lists in Gar that don't include Anakin. There aren't a lot, I will say. So, with that being said, I'm fine with that change. I think I was kind of on a high horse, and I really like the card. I think I even made an argument for being the number 1, which I'm glad Randy talked me off that ledge. So,
That's a big take.
Yeah.
Okay.
wasn't
I appreciate your gumption.
I wasn't completely ridiculed on that one, but yeah.
Okay, the other one I had 2 people. We had some feedback from fellow Spice Boys, and they said Covert Observations is booty and the worst card and needs to be at the bottom.
So what's funny about that is that I focused my ire on Mechanized Incursion because I'm a droid player and I like droids and I know droids. But that was probably the second thing that I was thinking about bringing up was I was like, I don't understand why that's as high as it is, and that's why Mechanized Incursion has to be higher. So
Okay.
I agree with your assessment.
Okay. That's the feedback, and I was looking at it, I was like, that card doesn't really do anything.
And look, I had a fantastic game against Austin Miller 2 weekends ago now at a local tournament, and Turning the Tide is such a clutch turn 1 play for having orders on your buses when you play double bus, double sleeper lists that I think he would feel quite disrespected, like you backhanded him with Turning the Tide that low. It's not a one size fits all for every rebel list. But man, the disrespect on Turning the Tide there. It's okay. That's Austin's problem. I focused on Mechanized Incursion. That's it. I've said my piece.
Well, when you're playing at a different level that Austin Miller plays in, he can play Turning the Tide and make it good. But for us lonely X and 1 peons down here, we can't comprehend the level of play needed to.
No, I can comprehend it. My stuff's just dead before it needs to get suppression off. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
I'm okay with Covert Observations. Just honestly, this bottom half is just is it worse than Synchronized Offensive? Probably yes, just because ATRTs aren't terrible anymore, right?
I feel like Synchronized Offensive is not as good as Mechanized Incursion first. Let's get that out of the way. But I feel like it's kind of in a tier where it's only useful in Republic vehicle lists. And then otherwise, because there's a lot of scenarios where it's actually not. You can't use it. So you have to have a Republic vehicle, which I guess could be more.
Which is just an ATRT.
Yeah, but then you're putting the order on the vehicle with your 1 pip, then you got to have something nearby to get the other order for your 1 pip. So it's just I feel like it's very situational. So I wouldn't put it very high. So I'm okay with where that's
at. And we did it.
All right. Covert down to the bottom, which brought Turning the Tide up 1. So we just making everybody happy.
Yeah.
There you go. Austin.
Okay. Let's get to the real meat here. Do you guys want to start with Dooku's 3 pip pips or 3 pip or his 1 pip?
Think you should start with the Sithwell rule. Let's talk about the combo card with Saj.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, just because then we can focus on the pure Dooku filth that he can do with his other cards.
Okay. Let me here. I'll read this out because I need to know what it does. So it's a 2 pip in your hand, but it's a 3 pip when played. As far as building your command hand, Count Dooku gains an aim token and a dodge token. After Count Dooku activates, if a Saj Ventress does not have a face down order token, she activates. After she activates, if she has a face up order token, flip it face down. If she does not have an order token, assign her a face down operative order token. Okay. Seems good.
So we were having a little bit of discussion on this before we officially hit record. And I have one point that we brought up and one point that I just thought of looking at some cards. So I think this card actually gained utility in a game that is one less turn because I despise having to waste an action on Dooku to take an aim. And this card gives you an aim and a dodge token. That is actually very helpful these days. The only reason it's still going to stay somewhere near the bottom third for me is because I like Asajj's 2-pip, and of course Dooku's 2-pip, and sometimes even just push before I would take this card. And it takes the spot of a 2-pip, and a 2-pip is definitely a competitive slot in CIS, just period. You've also got, if you play a super tack, they have an excellent 2-pip card. And then if you even if you play, like I said, generics, like sometimes I'll just take push because CIS, that's just such a good Allen wrench kind of card that does a lot of work for you. So I will say that I respect this card a lot more than I used to, but it's sitting somewhere near the bottom third of the Tower of Power for me.
Yeah. It seems like its biggest knock against it is that there's just a lot other better splashier options.
Mm-hmm.
It's the third card in a 3-card set of 2 pips, and it's just yeah. And the thing for me is that it only gives Count Dooku, and it's a 2 pip, but it plays like a 3 pip, and you're only giving out 1 order. Now I know droids have a lot of ways to give out orders besides cards, but I would like to see at least maybe Dooku in one other unit or something else to kind of make this a little bit more flashy.
Dooku's super interesting now, though, because he can just direct.
He can.
So he's got a lot of flexibility. Like I was talking about Attack of the Clones being bad because it doesn't give the order to the commander. That kind of card on Count Dooku wouldn't be bad because he can just give himself an order.
Yeah, and Dooku is direct trooper unit, so he is not droid trooper or vehicle specific like some other directs are. He is definitely very utilitarian. I do like that on him because the order control it gives him these days is outstanding.
So where are we thinking? Above the air support orbital strike cards there, maybe?
It's kind of right where I was thinking.
I have a little bit of sabotage communication PTSD from getting it done to me.
I'm playing
So
Yoda.
I probably rate it too high. So yeah, I think over air support would be a good spot.
Okay.
All right. The Sith will rule the bottom third.
The 14th Beth command card, definitive answer, right?
You
there.
put it above covert observation. That's all I really cared about.
All right. Where are we headed next? Should I disappoint you? Okay. You disappoint me. It's a 3-pip. When Count Dooku issues an order to a unit, that unit gains 1 dodge token. After Count Dooku performs a ranged attack against a trooper unit, he may perform a speed 2 move with that unit. We did talk about direct, so the card gives him Count Dooku and 2 units. So does the direct make it another 4th unit that he's giving this dodge to? Okay.
Because it does not say because it does not say an order with this card. So yes, you would be able to give an additional dodge token out with this. In the list I've been playing most recently with Dooku, it's Dooku, 2 Aqua Droids, a single crab, a couple spiders, and then 6 Rad Cannon B1s. this every time I played this 3-pip, it was Dooku got his order, the 2 Aqua droids got their orders, and then his direct gave orders to all the troopers, and my bag was 3 supports. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Just bam, right off the
Yeah.
bat. I mean, and if you know, a lot of people default towards playing standard orders turn 1. And if you're still trying to not slow roll, but if you're still trying to slow roll and not, steal the initiative right away and make a big splashy play, this is a very common turn 2 card for me. If I've played a very aggressive Dooku turn 1 play where I've scouted him up and then double moved him into a position, then playing this card to hopefully not get priority, but even if you do get priority, be able to pop out lightning something and possibly bring it towards you and then force push it into you to give him that added layer of protection is a play that I've done several times. And the game is closer now, so I think that that range 2 lightning is not as much of a liability as it used to be and is easier to get off than it used to be. So I love this card. It's still got the same old-fashioned utility than it used to have, but because, like we just pointed out, because of direct, I think it actually got better, which I really love. So what's not to like here?
I have a clarifying question for the Tower of Power. Are we rating the Tower of Power just based on how good the cards are, or how good the character is and with the cards?
The character's a part of it, because if it's a good card attached to a dumpster character, then it's not that good of a card.
Yeah, because the card's never going to be brought if the character's never going to be brought.
Like, I would say, like, Yoda cards stock is down.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
But those cards are still good.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say Dooku's has excellent command cards just in general. I feel like they're all like this is and then
they're just even better now.
Yeah, and then with cunning, they're even better because he's got his 3 pips are if he wants priority, his 3 pips better than your 3 pips. So I'd put this pretty high.
This is really high because, like, another point is, so on his lightning, LJ, do you scatter the unit first and then you move them a speed 2 and then your opponent recoheres, or like how does that interaction work?
Well, so it's after Count Dooku performs a ranged attack, so the scatter would be part of the ranged attack. You'd resolve the scatter, then you'd resolve the speed 2 move. And again, if you are the one moving the unit, then you get to do the cohesion as well.
Okay. So basically, the scatter doesn't really matter.
No, scatter is not a moneymaker.
Yeah, but because you're going to get to because you move in speed 2, and then you cohere them closer to you anyway.
Right. So the scatter doesn't get you anything.
Yeah. So you're basically moving a unit, 2.5. Well, a model, not really a unit leader, but yeah. But one big thing is, like, you can move people out of POI range with this if they've already gone. So you could play this later in a turn if you need to, like, get someone off to secure an objective. I mean, this is maybe a budget push, like force push, kind of. It's better than force push because it's speed 2, not speed 1. So it's Dooku in 2 units. Yeah, this is way up there for me, I think. And just
this is another one where it enables Dooku to do something that people just can't do. I had the holy grail of Dooku situations happen in my my first game a couple weeks ago in a local, where he was solo contesting a back POI. There was a single unit leader that he force choked, another unit that he pushed off, another unit that he lightninged away with this card, and then he just stood there triumphantly and flipped it on the 4th one. So he just solo took that POI just by existing because of this card. So,
it's definitely better than Attack of the Clones. I think it's better than Assault.
I was going to say, to me, it just looks like Assault, but you get to give dodges and move somebody possibly.
Yeah.
And because it's Count Dooku in 2 units, and you you've got to factor his direct into it for an additional trooper.
Yeah,
it's insane value in CIS these days.
Wow.
How do you guys feel about it? Number 4 there.
I think it's pretty good. So part of Assault's value, which this is kind of quantify because they don't have a commander staying behind, is that it fits into a lot of command hands just by existing. So, but as objectively, like which card's better?
Mhm.
Is this better than Assault?
Is it not better than Ploy?
So I played a lot of Ploy between Shadow Collective, and I messed around with it with Maul Bosk in CIS for a while too. I think Ploy is only going to stay higher than me for now because it is an extremely unique effect that you can't replicate basically anywhere else except for one credit card.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would keep it just because, again, like I'm a big utility guy. I love splashy plays, but utility is pretty king in a very technical game like Legion. So I would keep it above it there for now. And also, then the top 3 cards are just going to be Dooku cards, and that's boring.
My other argument for Ploy is that it's one of those ones that those other cards that mess with your order giving, Ploy dodges those.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's true. I guess I'm just stuck on the fact that it's so limiting because you have to bring a mercenary unit for you to even do any good. And if you don't, then it like cuts out this whole card. And it just like mercenaries are so, I guess depends on the faction you bring. I mean, GAR it has no mercenaries, but CIS has an option of lot. So it's not as it just seems more prevalent, I guess, in other armies.
We had pikes. The utility for Ploy when Old Legion was it gets around the Anakin turn where he can't get an order.
Yeah, for sure.
With the Anakin pike
Mhm.
shenanigans, but those days are behind us. But yeah, I think within it, I mean, it's not Ploy's fault it can't be played in more than one faction.
Sure.
It's really
Yeah.
good in the context that it can be played.
I think LJ said it. It's still a
I
very
think bad
unique keyword.
batches help keeping it up a little bit too.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
Okay. Let's move on to doubling our fall. This is for Count Dooku in 1 unit. It's a 2-pip. At the start of the activation phase, if Count Dooku has a face-up order token, he may return it to his order pool to choose up to 2 enemy units at range 1 to 2 and return their order tokens to their order pool. See? Ploy, Mitchum. Ploy.
This card is super annoying, by the way. This is like a BM card. I do not like when
this
people
is
play
what
this card.
this is what Pin Down wanted to be, honestly. Like this is what Pin Down should
This
be.
is Pin Down's older brother.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. The baseline for me is above Pin Down at least, but I don't know how much higher.
This card's so annoying because other than Ploy, how do you don't really have a way to deal with it, because if Dooku can get into his spot with your hero, so I'm playing like Yoda or Anakin, he gets into the spot, and then it's beginning of activation. So like playing a 1-pip, I still get my order sent back, and or if you don't play a 1-pip, then he has priority on you, and you still get your order sent back. So it's just it's just you just lose. It's no fun.
So how do you get around, because you have to put Count Dooku's order back? So you're just counting on the fact that you have perfect order control?
Yeah, so having good order control, bringing a super tack with improvised orders to help mitigate some of that problem a little bit. If you're playing this card, he is in range 2 of the enemy, which usually means that unless I just got like ridiculously unlucky and I pulled his token twice, I am probably in a situation where I could make a splashy activation out of Dooku. His lightning is still super solid, so you could always, if you get put in that weird spot, you may be able to do like a saber throw or a lightning to get him back into a safe position, and then maybe next turn you're popping out with FSI. So I think you mitigate it by having the usual droid tricks, good order control. Again, this was something where I think I put order tokens back less than you would probably think before 2.6. I think cunning and it being a 2-pip in a world where there were so many, and still are, so many good 2-pips, brought value to the card, even if you didn't use the full effect of the card, because you were winning duels off the strength of winning priority, and then being able to do cool stuff before your opponent got to do cool stuff. Even if you lose Dooku's order by returning it to the pool, you still get his direct off no matter what. And so you're still getting that fantastic order control and goodness that we've talked about so much already. Oddly enough, though, like that being said, I do find I am playing this card less and less because of the way that I've kind of played Dooku the last couple of games. and it falls into that, like, it's got a niche use, and when that niche hits, it's ridiculous. But I actually don't play this card as much as I used to. I bring it. It's, to me, it's better than push. Again, the fact that it's Count Dooku and 1 unit, plus you get his direct, and again, not droids or troopers or whatever, is really, really solid. It's gonna beat out the generic droid 2-pip for me. So, does it make my hand when I build a list? Every time. Does it hit the table? Not as much anymore, weirdly enough. So I'm actually going to put this a little lower than You Disappoint Me. It's definitely got to be above Attack of the Clones, though. And I think I'm starting to see the disrespect of putting that up so high as time goes on now.
Yeah.
So I think I've got to put it in between Assault and Attack of the Clones for now. And we'll see. You guys chew on that. You tell me if you think I'm off base with that one.
I definitely think better than push was
Yeah.
where I was at.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So that we were in the same neighborhood then.
Yeah.
Because again, the problem with like saying that, even me admitting that to myself, is like when this card hits and you still have great order control with your droid army, and they're searching for that Luke token or that Andy, like they can't pull the right token, and you're just laughing as they like search through their deck for stuff. God, it's so demoralizing.
It's EM. It's EM. That's what I was saying. It's not. It's an annoying card.
But I don't think I'm getting the same utility out of it these days as I'm getting with, like I said, with like You Disappoint Me.
But with Dooku, it is just, it's push with potentially extra order, extra effect. So
Yeah,
What
is.
if we do this just to annoy people that it's right under Attack of the Clones?
It's annoying me though.
Oh no!
I'm willing to concede only because You Disappoint Me made it so high and you flipped your mind on MI. So
Okay.
I accept your terms.
Oh.
All right. Last card here. Are you guys afraid? Are you surprised? Intimidated? Well, with this card, you get all 3. This is Dooku's 1-pip. He gets to order himself and somebody else because direct is cool. Count Dooku gains Arsenal 2 and Relentless, and each of his ranged weapons gains Versatile. After he performs an attack, each defender gains 2 suppression tokens. This is Dooku's Go Ham card.
Yeah, this is still an MVP.
I played against this card, and my opponent brought Saber Throw as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, okay, so he had 6 black dice from his lightning, and then 3 more black dice from his Saber Throw.
3 red.
3 red, yeah. So 6 black dice, 3 red.
9 dice.
9 dice, surging crit, just like, I had no idea.
The like week that Death Troopers hit, I pulled that combo on somebody and just like deleted a unit in one throw and lightning combo. And their poor 3-up Death Troopers were reduced to nothing. Oh, I'll never forget that. I mean, FSI is a classic. Again, I'm going to bring it up. Direct brought the value of this card up. Direct brought up the value of all his cards because you just get more value every time you play a card. But then the fact that it's also combined with Cunning, and 1-pips are usually somebody else's splashy play, and he gets to say, well, no, I'm going to do my splashy thing. Is just, again, that value is just sky high. I mean, except for everything but sorry about the mess. He is going to get to do what he wants to do on this turn. And I was doing stuff like basically taking 2 sleepers off the board. And it's just when you're removing that kind of combat power from somebody, just like that, I don't know. I love it. I also find that I can be more aggressive with this card than I used to be because he got bumped to a red surging save natively. I think that's something that actually has made Dooku. Of course, it's made him better, but I think it works better with this card because before, sometimes I'd FSI in, and I would delete something and cripple something else, but still maybe get stuck in a situation where I knew he was going to take some sort of clapback, and that kind of factored into my math on, okay, I think I can survive this. I actually feel better throwing him into those situations now because he can survive a little bit easier. And then on top of that, you're usually turning off somebody's actions throughout the course of the attack because they're going to take a lot of suppression from the lightning, and whoever you swing at, if they're not dead, is probably also going to take suppression from, or they are going to take 2 suppression from the saber. So, being able to, again, effectively shut down 2 really solid units or delete one very, very tough unit is just great. It's just the best.
Between this card and some BX drawers with Deoxys mines, Bad Batch did not stand a chance when I played. And then plus the 2 suppression on top of it, so like I didn't even get 2 actions because I already had suppression on me from last turn. So yeah, it's really, really good combo. Now I think it's still good even without Saber Throw. But I think the Saber Throw is just kind of the icing on the cake on this, because throwing 9 dice is just insane, especially in a world without fire support. And large dice pools are still king. So, I mean, it's a 1-pip cunning. It's got to be number 1. I mean, there's only one card in the game that can beat it, besides someone else that has cunning, I guess. But
I was going to say, your number 1 on the list is Ambush. If you played this card against Ambush,
yeah,
you know
this
who
card
would
would
win.
win.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead, Matt.
The thing with this, the only reason I'm thinking about Ambush is that everybody pretty much can take Ambush.
Right. You're giving up that utility by playing a card that only one character benefits from.
Sure.
Unless you have a cool ability like Direct that lets you get more orders.
But it is just better than Ambush.
I think that's the thing. We have to look. Okay, you're sacrificing your utility. How splashy is this card? How good is the character it's attached to? And I think Dooku's checking both of those boxes as it stands right now. So I think I'm okay with this card as our new number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be number 1, I think, for a while. It's going to be hard to beat.
You made us look like we're easily persuaded here, coming in with like really good command cards.
Guys, it's our first character. Things are gonna move.
We knew this was gonna happen.
So. Yeah.
No, this is a good one to do up front, because it breaks up the monotony of the generic cards, I think, nicely by giving you a lot to talk about, because there's so many good effects on these cards that now you've created kind of a benchmark for other character name cards that are going to come after. And his weakest card is the top of the bottom third.
Yeah.
Man, the Direct just does change up so much.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think this is a different discussion if Dooku did not have Direct on him anymore. It would probably be on your guys' list. It would probably be like maybe 3 in my top 3 instead of just shooting automatically up to the top. But again, you're not sacrificing as much anymore as you used to by playing a Dooku only card. Right off the bat, he saved me 10 points on my list because I didn't have to bother with an HQ uplink on my B1s. It's just money, the way he's built now. And, he got cheaper in the process too. So
that's why he got cheaper. He got Search and Defend. He's got
just big dubs for Dooku all around.
I'm so crazy how much under the radar he's gone with all the changes to Anakin and how flashy he is and everything. But like this Dooku change has gone completely under the radar, and no one is talking about how good he is now. And it's just and I think now finally, people are finally realizing like, oh wait, there's some insane value in Dooku in CIS now, and we're seeing it with all the lists and LVO and the Invitational, and just with the new Aqua Droids and Crabs that came out, like just some insane efficiency. And I know we talk about it all the time, and Dooku is just king, I think, at that right now. So
I'm loving it. I think droids are a great spot.
Droids are in a fantastic spot right now.
Feels really good. So.
But they're not better than Rebels.
I like it. I think those are good. I think those are good placements. I don't really have, other than Attack the Clones, is probably still
I'm just glad it wasn't 1, 2, 3, 4. Like there was actually a pretty bad one that was lower.
Yeah. So just to go over that, Fear and Surprise and Intimidation is our new number 1. You Disappoint Me is falling at number 5. Double the Fall is at 8, and the Sith Will Rule is at 17. All right, cool.
Awesome.
This is great, guys. I'm enjoying this. I feel like I got to have circle time with Dooku and actually like learn what all his command cards do. So, all right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Mitchum, this episode will go out after the tournament this weekend. But this Saturday, you are running a LVO qualifier.
Yep, full qualifier.
We have LJ here. He knows a few things about LVO and the LVOIS. I don't know if you've heard of that. But so it's a wide range here. Small local tournaments, all the way up to how big was LVO? 200 plus playing across the GT and the Invitational.
I think when you factor in both, when the event started, it was 180. 180, I think, was our final number.
Okay.
Wow.
So I just wanted us to kind of go around the horn here and talk about from either a TO perspective or a player perspective, what enhances a tournament for you? What's something you do as a TO to try to make things more interesting for the player? What's something you can do as a player to make things easier on the TO or be more enjoyable for yourself? I think we can only do so much. And while, yes, you're going there to play games and have fun, I think there's always something you can do as an individual to help out that person who has a lot on their shoulders to not have to micromanage your fun time the whole time. Yeah, so does anyone want to kick us off? If I can start. I can start if you guys want me to.
I mean, if you're on a roll, go ahead.
Okay.
Roll.
I like when we do.
You're coming from a player mostly perspective.
Yes.
Right,
so the only Legion event I've TO'd was for the Galaxy Award event we had. Well, it was a narrative focused event. We had different play objectives, conditions. It was a team event. So you're playing individual games where you're scoring points for your faction as a team. And so that would be my suggestion if you're out there TOing locals, that to break up the tournament prep for the GTs on your monthlies, to do something fun and out there. I know we're kind of on a drought when it comes to organized play kits right now. I assume those will come back in the future. But if there's something you can do to shake things up, give people an opportunity to actually talk to each other, to coordinate and strategize. I think that's a big reason people like that narrative event we did. It was a team. You were deciding together who was going to play what objectives. Tournaments can be kind of a lonely, self-contained experience, especially if you're just showing up there and you don't know anybody. So having an opportunity to where force interaction, let's focus on the game, but you get to an excuse to talk to people. I think that is a cool thing to do, to try to just, I don't know, make some friends, have fun.
Yeah.
Go outside.
Touch grass.
Yeah,
not the grass on the Naboo table, like actual grass.
I'll go for Mitchum Steals It. I, as a player, love the bounty board. That's a thing I feel like we've locally done a really good job of, is having bounties. And a thing that we've more recently done, Mitchum and then Travis have done a really good job of, is they've posted bounties beforehand that have like specific character requirements. So I think for this coming up this weekend, the theme's kind of like bounty hunter. So there's like some bounty hunter based bounties, which people aren't bringing a lot of bounty hunters. So it's like maybe encourages people to bring some stuff that we might not see to try to, get some of these prizes. I just think it's a really cool way to get people maybe running stuff they might not normally run. And I think it's just fun, especially because if, in a tournament season, there's been points where we've all kind of been, doing kind of similar things over and over again. I think it's a little monotonous. So I think it's nice to kind of, theme events a little bit more, kind of bring people doing some different things. So that was one as a player. I really enjoyed that. So it's fun to think about. And then did we do the top 4 bounty too? Where it's like
that is
part
of
I think we've done in the past. This was my first event we went to. It was like they did the top rated players at the event had like a $5 bounty on them or something like that.
Ooh.
I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so then sorry, Randy. So Randy's got a target on his back for this event.
Yeah, he's just getting points. So if you beat Randy, you'll get points towards
Yeah.
like your cumulative score at the end. But in the past, yes, there have been like actual dollar amounts on
Oh
players.
man,
And
you just gave me a great idea.
so if the player goes
Oh.
undefeated, then they get to keep the money. So
Yeah,
it's
it's fun.
and it kind of fits in with our whole theme because our team name is the Dust Bowl Bounty Hunters.
Mhm.
So we really try to play into that. And kind of what Matt was saying, we like to make it to where like there's other objectives besides going undefeated and winning. I mean, you could bring an all bounty hunter list and be the best bounty hunter at the tournament, or you can win a bunch of cool door prizes that we give and stuff like that. So it ends up there's kind of a balance because as a TO, you're constantly asking people for like, hey, what do you want to donate to my tournament so I could give it away for free, you know? And so sometimes that could get a little monotonous, but hopefully this way it'll keep players engaged for 3 rounds and then they'll have a cumulative score. They may not win. They may go 1-2 or 2-1 or whatever, but they'll be like, "Oh, I got the most points, so I'm going to get a prize and a trophy because I did the best bounty hunter stuff and everything." So, yeah, that's good to hear. I'm glad you said that, Matt. It made me really happy.
To tack onto that, Matt, we I don't know if we do it every time, but we also do player sponsored bounties. So if you get there and you show up, you're like, man, I really gonna just punch someone in the face if I have to play against another Anakin 501st list. So $5 or a beer to whoever kills Anakin first this round, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you? You go ahead, LJ, because you got a ton of experience. So coming from the TO side.
Yeah, so this kind of worked out well because now we have 2 player and I assume 2 TO bits of nugget knowledge to give out. Man, I'm still swimming on that whole bounty thing because we have a new store that I'm running an LVOIS event at here in a couple of weeks, and Michael Losi, the reigning LVOIS champion, is planning on attending.
Awesome.
And that is a bounty. That's going to be a bounty right there. Come for the king.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So, sorry, I'm still nugget on that. Well, do I want to do a trophy? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Like, man, I just swimming over here in ideas. No, I think
you should make him bring the
they can bring the belt.
Bring the belt, and like
right.
if you beat him, you get to wear the belt the rest of
the day. I do have to make him bring the belt. I didn't even think about the belt.
Yeah.
Oh,
hey, we did an interview with him about his tournament win, and Mitchum didn't even have him show the belt.
I know. I messed up.
I'm glad he used the belt because I had a realization, and I'm sure Austin Miller's great. I don't know the guy. I had a realization. I was like, oh man, did I just make a belt for Austin Miller when he's like about to win LVO? But yeah, no.
Oh man. So I will say that a thing that you can do that is both immediately interesting and encourages long-term attendance or re-attendance for your tournaments is just have branded somethings. I got so much shit for not having LVO territory markers this year from the people who attended, especially the LVIS champs, that it has made me spiral into a great depression that I fear I will not come out of. That's how fierce it has been, that there was not LVO branded deployment markers and now territory markers. And I realized the way that people talked about those items is just an expression of FOMO. It's fear of missing out. And they go to their stores and people see those markers and they know where they got them from because it says right on the marker, and it makes them want to attend an event. And when you're able to make something like that not only ties a potential community together or makes people look forward to an event throughout the year, I think that's been that's kind of been a secret of success over the last 6 years, is that the types of prizes have been legendary, and that's what makes people want to attend. And when they don't get that, like, it's extremely disappointing to them. So it's it might be seen as a double-edged sword when you say it like that, but I think the good outweighs the bad in a lot of cases. And if you can get something that reflects yourself as a community and makes people want to attend your events, and you get to rep your communities at other events by showing off those custom things, it's just a moneymaker. It's so easy for you to grow communities make people want to attend your events when you do stuff like that. And it does not have to be, doing poker chip tokens for every single person that attends your event and spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It is much easier to do 3D printed things and acrylics than it used to be. And I think if you're trying to build that sense of community, you latch on to your mascots. You grab your Dust Bowl bounty hunter types and you make something that is reflective of yourself. So I can't speak enough about the profound effect that that's had on communities and events that I've been a part of over the last 6 years.
Yeah, it's the concert tee, right? It's not enough that you go to the concert. People need to know that you went to the concert.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've got Mitchum's wearing one. It's our Dust Bowl bounty hunter t-shirt, and when I was first into Legion, I saw some of the jerseys that other communities have, and I was like, "This is kind of lame, guys." But when we got our shirts, and when we all go to an event together and take the group picture, I'm like, "Okay, this is pretty cool." People want to be us right now.
And we still get guys asking, like, where can I get a t-shirt from? Where can I rep your stuff? And it's just like, where can I get that? Where can I get that? And it's like, oh, well, come to this tournament that I was at, and maybe you'll have a chance of getting all this stuff and everything. So, yeah. Oh, I'll just keep rolling then.
Look, I could throw another one at you.
Hey, well, let me try to steal this one. So we've kind of talked on a lot of stuff. I think my biggest thing, as from a TO perspective, and I think this is more kind of down on a local level. It's harder to do when you're hosting over 150 players because they're already coming to there. You already have the player base, but trying to get your tournaments up from like 6 to 8 players to like 12 to 16 players. I think it's very important to reach out to certain people in your community individually. And, not everyone is going to be able to attend your tournaments, and that's okay because everyone is not going to be available with the date that you set. And that you got to be understanding of that. You're not going to be able to change their mind if they already had plans, like whatever, but still like put a personal touch on it. I think one of the guys in our community, Travis, he is very good at this. And he usually, if you haven't signed up for the tournament, he'll reach out to you personally on Discord or Facebook, either a week or two before and be like, hey, we have this tournament. Are you coming? Can I mark you as coming? And, you either say yes, no, or maybe, or like whatever. But I really think that gives a nice level of connection between the event organizer and every individual player. You don't need to be a big mainstay guy in your community to do this type of thing. You can just get your buddies together and just kind of not really hold them accountable, but just kind of like reaching out, just be like, hey, we haven't forgot about you. We know you still like to play this game. This is what's going on this month. Like, are you able to come? And, that goes a long way in making people feel included because that's what we're all here to do. I mean, we're going to hang out for 6 hours and push miniatures around on a board. You might as well like everyone that's there, So if you can make everybody feel included and feel like you're not isolating anybody as an event organizer, the best thing you can do is be a social chameleon, talk to everyone, reach out to people, ask them about their list, ask them what they're thinking about running, ask them about, what do you think about this prize support? Ask them, what do you think about the prizes I have? What do you think about the bounty board? Get feedback from players. It makes them feel like they have a say in their local community, and that'll keep them coming back for sure. And it's nice to have tournaments in multiple areas within your local scene as well, because you get different groups that only make it to certain stores, which is totally fine. So if you have, and also, don't do it all by yourself. As someone who used to do tournaments for a different game, and it was just me running a tournament every single month, I got burnt out and I stopped playing the game altogether, because I just got tired. I was never playing. I was just hosting all these tournaments and everything, and I just got burnt out. So make sure you have other people that you can count on to be like, hey man, can you take the tournament this month? Because I want to play. Or, we're fortunate enough in Oklahoma to have 3 guys that rotate, and we rotate between 3 stores. So I host a tournament and then I can play in the next 2 until I have to host again. So it's really nice to kind of keep me fresh. I keep coming up with ideas. We bounce ideas off each other and stuff like that. And we try to sprinkle in narrative events like what Randy is doing and not make them all competitive and stuff like that. So that's kind of my community driven tidbit, I guess.
Yeah, no, I like the way you talked about that, Mitch, because I think it leads into a point I was thinking of while you were talking. It builds loyalty, and that loyalty is usually rewarded through attendance and consistent recruitment of other people. I think if you take what you said, you can take what you said one step further. And when you do latch onto that person who is maybe an outlier, a satellite that was kind of floating out there on their own, and you've now taken that personal touch and invite them to come in. And then when the event starts, you're like, and we'd like to welcome our first time attendees and introduce people. Then they're like, oh, I'm part of the group. And that really builds a solid foundation that takes it from a tournament to a community, which is really important.
Yeah, 100%.
I like that a lot. That's probably you should do that this Saturday, Mitchell.
I will, because we actually have 2 new players showing up.
Perfect.
We have one guy from Tulsa and then one guy from Kansas, and then we also have 2 other guys coming down from Kansas. So we have a lot of people coming in, and then I think the following tournament we have in March, we have a lot of guys from Texas coming up too. So we get a lot of interstate play and everything. But yeah, I will definitely do that. I always like to either give something to the newbies. If it's their first tournament, I like to have them walking out the door with something that they can take and be like, this is what I got at my first tournament. And something like that. So yeah, I think that's a great way, because it's when it comes down to it, it's all about building community. And that's the only reason why we have tournaments, really, is to build community and to play a game that we all love. So why not make it a good time and not a chore? Yeah.
Yeah. I just to tag on there. I don't know if it was this way for you, but first tournament, there's a bit of a fear component. At least there was for me. Even though I feel like the thing we always say, just come. You're getting to play 3 games in one day. That's all you should think of it like.
Yeah.
But there's, I don't know. Like there's like, oh man, there's a time. They're gonna call time on me. There's a lot of people that still aren't making it to time out there. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You're not going to be the slowest person forever.
No.
That's how you get better. Just go play. Just go play. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Matt, did you have any other ones you want to throw in there?
I was kind of the last one. When I went the first couple tournaments, there was like a nice guy award or whatever. It was like the person that people enjoyed playing the most. And I got that, and that was pretty cool because I wasn't winning, many games. But I did get the nice guy award. So I think that's kind of your point, is to make sure that these people are, acknowledged and appreciated for coming. So I guess it is, it is a commitment, and it can be a little daunting, especially, when you're new to anything. And Legion can be a lot for, a lot of people starting out. So
yeah,
agree 100%.
Your first tournament wasn't that one where we played, was it?
Was that round 1?
Yeah, where you picked boxes and I was playing Cat Bane.
No, that wasn't. No, you're good. You're good. If it was, it didn't harm me.
Oh, you learned something that day.
Yeah, he never did that ever again.
Yeah. So
good deal. Okay, cool. Well, hey, let's continue the tournament talk. LJ, there's some updates to the LVOIS season we want to get into.
Yes. So
should I pull up the site?
Yes, let's do that, because
Okay.
that'll be best, because there's visual stuff, but also like functional improvements and whatnot.
I guess just a basic question. I guess the difference between a full qualifier and like a points qualifier, that hasn't changed since last year, correct?
No, that hasn't changed. So if you're just joining us for the first time, what we're going to do here is we're going to talk a little bit about some updates to the Las Vegas Open Invitational Series. which is a thing that's actually been around for more than a couple of years now. It's entering its fourth year, I believe. Tyson, who runs a lot of Marvel Crisis Protocol events, wanted to create a series where you could have your events registered as official qualifiers. Those would give you either invites or points to attend the Las Vegas Open, and you would play in an invite-only championship, which is what we did this last year at the Las Vegas Open. We started in the first weekend of May was our first official event we did in the 2024 season. And this last year, from May to December, we had 122 events across 15 different countries that participated in the system for somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 unique participants. And that got us to 64 players that were duking it out in our first championship last month. So it was speaking of community, it was really at its core, it's really a community-run effort. The system that Tyson set up is awesome, and everything works really nicely. And we just kind of got to latch onto that and kind of combine what he was already doing with some plans that we had on the back burner for a long time. So everything worked out, married really well, and we got to see the cycle play out over the last 7 months. And I mean, it was just very cool to see the first one happen. The energy those players brought to LVO was amazing. The discussions we had between players were competitive, but were also very, very comfortable, very respectful, and very reflective of what we like to think of as the Star Wars Legion community. And those 64 players were doing it in the same hall as another 100 players that were playing in the GTs. So it just Legion looked good that Saturday at LVO. Let's put it that way. And this was one component of that. So of course, after running through an iteration, we wanted to do it again, and we actually started taking events in December for the 2025 season, because we know that for a lot of people, suddenly winning an invite to LVO and then having to figure out your flight and hotel and attendance is a challenge 1 month before the event starts. So I've actually kind of shifted the scope of the Las Vegas Open Invitational Series a little bit to help accommodate for that, and start to collect events earlier and maybe end a little earlier than we did the previous year to help with that. So we've got the same stuff that we did before, with a couple of quality of life updates. The first thing that is apparent when you look right here at the website is we wanted to rebrand the LVOIS. And so Emily, my wife, who has helped with a lot of different Legion projects over the last 6 years, took a stab at that and was able to find this nifty little font. And we found it, we liked it, and we turned it right over to Jerry, and he printed a bunch of stuff with the new logo image on it at Jerry's Game Shop. And so we took TO feedback at the end of last season, and that was a big one. Was they wanted the system to be recognizable. So what do? You find some sort of branding to make it easier for you to recognize. You see that LVOIS, and that it is it because it's a Legion thing, but maybe you have a Marvel Crisis Protocol community, and you're like, oh, we can participate in that arm of the system. It's good. The branding is going to be consistent across the systems. When Shatterpoint is added here in the next couple of weeks, which is a thing that is happening, all 3 game lines will be under that branding. And so again, that'll create the kind of consistency that TOs and players were asking for. A little out of order, but we're talking about it. The second to last drop down on the bottom there is the branding that we're going to use. And if you click on that, there is actually a branding guide that shows you like, hey, here's the colors that we use for these different patterns. You can see the Shatterpoint purple's already in there. You can see the logos, the icons, a word mark. And then there's also, and the reason why I really want to bring this up is at the bottom. Speaking of tools for TOs, if you as a TO want to make your events look legitimate, then make them look legitimate. And so what Emily designed was a couple of different Canva templates. So if you're like, hey, this is my first time running a Legion tournament and I want to put up a poster in my store, then make a poster and use this as your template. And you don't even have to use it for an LVOIS event. Of course we use that as our suggested format because duh. But if you are like, hey, it's my first time, I can use this as a template, and somebody sees that online and they're like, oh, this store's got its shit together. Awesome.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to provide a tool that made everything look more consistent for the LVOIS, but also give tournament organizers a tool that they can take and use to make their events look better across the board, no matter what kind of event it was, for any game system, really. So that was a big one.
Yeah, this
Boom.
is huge, especially from a TO perspective, to just take this one of the many things you have to do when putting together a tournament.
Mhm.
This is just one less thing you have to worry about because you already have the advertising and the branding, and just like you just plug in your tournament name, you can print all this stuff, post it up, and it looks really clean, really sharp. And yeah, it's just one less thing you have to worry about as a TO. Highly recommend it. Fantastic stuff. Great stuff. So,
All right, so I won't have you dig through every document to find every quote, but I am excited about the second dropdown, the LVOIS documents and rules. As you can guess, it has all of our documents that we use to guide the LVOIS in one place. Before, things were kind of spread out and not organized in a way that we thought made a lot of sense. So we also wanted to address that. So that was one of our second priorities between seasons, was to update that. And so again, you don't have to open all of them if you don't want. If you want to, you can. But the first document is an overview of the qualification process. If you as a player or a TO want to know how you qualify for the LVOIS, we put that information in one document. So it says, hey, here's the different types of events. What is a points only versus a qualifier? Here's how many points I get for my type or size of the event. So I know that if I earn first place, this is approximately how many points I'm going to get. And it also has something new that we're really excited about, and you guys were actually just talking about one. But point number 4 is rules for team formats. So we just added support for team formats. The American Team Championship actually just signed up and is already on the docket for an official team tournament that is sponsored by the LVOIS. And basically, Longshanks makes team tournaments really, really easy. And there is the first screen that shows the results by team, but the second screen shows it broken down like your standard single player kind of breakdown of standings. And so you just use that screen to submit the results, and suddenly team events now work for the LVOIS. So you still have to be playing like standard games of Legion. So like a doubles event, not going to work. But if you're playing like 4 people on each team, you pair them up and they each play a standard game of Legion against each other, and you compare wins and losses, that works. And that now is supported. So yeah, ATC is kind of our test for that, and is going to be official this year. And we're also in talks with the World Team Championship to make their event a full qualifier as well for the same reason. There really isn't anything else too crazy new, groundbreaking here. But I'm glad you opened the document, because that reminded me to mention team formats, because we do think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So going back a tab, also talking about things that you can use as a TO. The second document, the suggested event guidelines, again, that's totally been updated. This is basically just, if you're going to run an event, these are some of the things you can or don't have to use if you don't want to. So stuff like, hey, option 1, follow the GT rules. Option 2, follow the GT rules but use these exceptions. And there's also some sub rules for if you're going to do team events. It talks about different ways you can do pairings and manage your tournament. It talks about how you can handle things like illegal lists, and what things you're supposed to bring, and how to call a judge, and how to handle cheating or slow play. How to use chess clocks at your event if you want to try out chess clock rules. So these are all suggested not mandatory if you want to run an LVOIS event, all suggested things that you can incorporate. So we kind of wanted to have a bit of a catch-all that showed you optional things that you could put in your tournaments, either as a TO to run them or as a player to suggest, like, hey, my community, we haven't ran games that have judges. So what is procedure for calling a judge? That kind of stuff is in here to help guide communities if they're seeking that guidance. So that was another big one. We kind of that. There's not a lot of new stuff in here, but we wanted to flatten the bubbles on that and make it accessible for everybody. And then last but not least, we put in kind of a basic set of rules for the Las Vegas Open Invitational Series Championship, which is the last document that's in there. That's not the packet that you get when you sign up for LVO, but because you are attending events in the hopes of earning an invite and attending the LVO, there were a couple things that we wanted to put out ahead of time. So by the time you went to go buy that ticket, because you qualified, you knew what your expectation might be going into the Las Vegas Open 6 to 7 months in advance. So we like I said, we really wanted to get as much information out there as possible. And the other kind of benefit we have to putting that information out there is, not only are our players better prepared because they know the rules ahead of time, but again, if there's any of these sub rules that you like, you can just steal them for your events. Maybe you're running streaming at your store for the first time and you want to cast a game, but you don't know how to handle play space and spectators. There's a sub rule for that on here that you can steal. So just little things like that. This was a lot of verbal vomit I just threw at you. Between branding and our documents, do you guys have any immediate questions?
Anyways, I will give a quick shout out. Jerry's Game Shop is local to our scene here. There's some of his Shadow Collective trophies there. He does great stuff. The LVOIS stuff he's made, you guys should definitely go check out those. So that's like a whole kit people can pick up for their event that they're running, right? That he's doing.
Yes. So that was actually on my list. So good segue. Because you might have caught it when you looked at one of the documents in the suggested event guidelines. There's actually a link to his shop, because we have partnered with them for tournament support kits. So we actually got to show these off at the Las Vegas Open this year, which was amazing. We had there was 16 of them, I think, that were all purchased by the end of the event. People wanted to bring them back to their communities, which is amazing.
Awesome.
And to kind of mirror the tournament, store tournament kits, but also put kind of our own spin on them. What Jerry did was develop 4 different kits that each have different pricing in them. So if you run a tournament 1 month, if you had one of the old store kits, if you ran a tournament 1 month and you ran a tournament the next month, you were probably giving away a lot of the same stuff. And so for you as a player, you might have not earned something you wanted, but if you got what you wanted and then you come to the next tournament and you just get it again, it's not going to hold the same value. For the most part, some prizes may be the exception there. So what he wanted to do is we wanted to create 4 kits. So right now, you can hold an LVOIS qualifier at a single location every 90 days. So 90 days, 4 kits. That covers every 3 months. You can use a different one of these kits. And what does each kit gives you? It gives you some sort of prize for your top 8 or your top players in general that you can give away. And we stuck to things, and this was another bit of LVO feedback that we incorporated here. We stuck to things that the players need right now. So we did range and a half tools. We did scoreboards. We did POIs. We did card sleeves. We tried to stick to functional things that you are going to put on your table every single game that you play. And Jerry was like, bet, I got you. And he crushed it. He crushed it with these. I actually got a set of the scoreboards in that kit that is on the way for my next qualifier, because players still need those. That's another thing that some of that functional stuff might keep a player away from attending your tournament, because maybe they haven't made the full 2.6 transition and they're like, well, I don't want to print a scoreboard and bring this janky piece of paper with me. Boom. hit them with one of the scoreboards, and now they've got a cool, custom printed item that not only reps us but also is functional from a game perspective. So yeah, Jerry, like I said, this was another thing on my list anyway, so I'm glad you brought it up. But Jerry's got 4 different kits that come with some sort of prize for your top group, a first place trophy, a best painted trophy, which is another community, type thing that is not always underscored. And we wanted to do something special for the person that accepted the invite, because the invite can pass all the way down to 8th place if you know you're not going to attend or you already won an event. And we did a little "You Are Invited" card, which you can see there on the right side of the picture. So somewhere in my office here, I still have the little Death Trooper card that I got for Worlds in 2019 that they gave us at Adepticon High Command. And that little card is still like such a treat. Every time I look at it, it reminds me of good times.
Yeah.
And so it's a little hard to see the texture in this picture, but it's got like a little Beskar pattern on it, printed on it, and it looks really good. And of course, the space for the player's name.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. And I can't tell you how many tools I got starting out from actually attending tournaments. That's where I got my first silhouettes. That's where I got my I think I got my half-range tool from the first 2.6 event. Jerry is a part of our local community, so we get to be the guinea pigs for a lot of his products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh darn!
It's cool stuff. Yeah, I know.
It stinks. Yeah.
We're the country in Africa where the guys who don't win the Super Bowl, those T-shirts go to. Yeah. Yeah, they still keep you warm though. They still keep you warm.
Yeah.
It's still functional.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was of course a big thing. People wanted some sort of official support, and Jerry has met and exceeded our expectations at every turn, which we can't appreciate enough, because it is truly awesome for him to do that for us. And then pretty much everything else after the documents and rules is all functional. The event application info, as you would expect, is how to apply for an event. The big change I will highlight here is point 3 was updated this season. If you are listed as a tournament organizer or head judge, you may play in an event that you are running. That was something we specifically did not allow last season, that we received feedback from TOs, and there's still just a lot of TOs that aren't as lucky with their community, where they do get that kind of rotation that Mitchum was talking about earlier, and they can't earn points for events because they're always running the events. And so this gives them an out to be able to play in an event. For a full qualifier, they just can't be the recipient of the invite. So they can't play an event, win the event, being like, "I'm going to LVO, suckers." But if they run 4 events throughout the course of the season, or even, if you run events at multiple stores and they place 1st through 8th place and earn those points, then they will find themselves probably invited to the LVO because they played well enough and went to enough events, which made up about, I would say, 20% of the attendees this last year. So not an insignificant amount for sure out of the 64 that attended.
I like that a lot, just because I feel like a lot of our TOs will bring their army just in case we have an odd number or someone can't show up that day. No one wants to have to sit around with a bye.
Right.
Especially when you come to paid and play a tournament that day.
Yep.
Like, you want to play through games. So I like that. Just for that.
It can be stressful, but it is worth it to be that guy that makes sure somebody has a game. And so I wanted to build that support in, because we appreciate those TOs that have to double dip. And there's pros and there's cons for doing it that way, but we did it the other way this season, and now we're going to try it this way this season. So we're very excited. The
Good
form
change.
also thank you. The form also has what the when you need to complete events by, which is the 12th of December, which is about a full month before the event. And then, of course, the link to apply for the event, which is just a Google form. And you fill it out, tell me when your stuff is. It's super simple. And then the approved event schedule and the player points list are the other 2 tabs after that. So the player points list shows where everybody currently stands. So you can see right now that Daniel Caslassi is rocking the top of the chart. Somebody you guys may be familiar with from the Texas community there. He actually already has 3 events that qualify to his record which is why he's ahead of the champion of last season, Michael Osi, already. So he is, Cass Lassie's rocking it as always. But as you can see, data is already in the system for this season. And the points list is churning with I think it's just under 10 events that have been submitted already that have completed this season.
Okay. The last LVSO counted. That's okay. That's cool.
Yes. So that was part of the player brief at the event. Even though it wasn't the first event chronologically of the season, it was always intended to be the first qualifier of that next season. And so, because it was over 48 players, the top 16 from the LVOIS champs got points, and Michael Losi gets an automatic bid for the 2026 LVO by winning the previous event.
Makes sense.
So, always a spot reserved for the winner of the previous season.
If you see this and you see people with all these high point values, just know that a lot of these people will get invites. So try and get those points, and you still might get your invite to come out just based on points, because a lot of these names will get knocked off because they'll just have the invitation direct to them.
Yes.
Yeah. So
yeah, we went through a lot more people than I think people assumed we would. If I could pull up the old form, I could probably tell you exactly how many people we sent points invites out to. And you're right, there were 50 people that were direct invites out of the 64. 3 that qualified from the previous GT at LVO itself that were my last chance qualifiers. And people that said, no, I can't attend the LVO this year, go to the next person. And so I think it did go down a lot farther than I think people would assume. So yeah, that's why the system exists as it does, and why we give points to the top 8. It puts a lot of names on the sheet, which I like because it looks good, but also it spreads that chance to the most people, rather than just sticking to the one winner every single time, even if you know that you are X and 1. You still could get enough points to then qualify through the points list and attend the LVO as a champ.
Yeah, I think I got a points invite at some point, but it was late, and I was just like, I wasn't expecting this. So, yeah, but I'm planning on going, because the FOMO hits real hard when you see the stream. And you're like, man, I could be in Vegas and I could be playing Legion right now.
Yeah.
So.
I think the only other thing worth highlighting here, not on that, but on the approved event schedule, is we give you the content in 2 ways. There's a Google Calendar and there's another Excel document. But when you open up the approved events list, we're already at 45 to 47 events, which is cool. That's amazing to me personally. The fact that we've already got that buy-in, and that we have events that, like I said, started as early as this past November and go all the way to November this year. So we already have 12 months of Legion covered on the calendar, which is amazing, and I'm a really big fan of. And this list lets you see what other events you may be able to go to and earn points at, which creates, again, that kind of wider sense of community. And then to tie, let's tie maybe one more TO, kind of prep TO type thing in here, because you can run an event every 90 days at a single location. There are some communities, and the Oklahoma community is very good about this, who will plan out their year based on the LVOIS qualifiers, and that creates a calendar that you can give your players at the start of the season. I mean, you don't have to give them the whole year at once, but you can be like, when you show up to a tournament and that TO's like, hey, welcome to the January event. This is your, FOMO at LVO event, because we're the ones here playing because we didn't go. Next month
we did one of those.
Exactly. Next month is going to be our LVOIS qualifier. March is going to be our Adepticon prep. April is going to be our fun tournament. May is going to be our next LVOIS qualifier. You look like you're put together. And in most cases, if you've done those things, you probably are. And so not only do you benefit from it on the TO, not only do your players benefit, but your store benefits from it too, because now you're not going to the store last minute trying to plan an event, because you've already submitted, you've already put it on the calendar, we've already approved it. So it's another thing that gives that TO another tool in their toolbox, which I really like, and the communities that have taken advantage of it have absolutely, I think, been rewarded by doing so.
Yeah, 100%. Half the battle is planning, and it seems like the beginning of the year, we always get together, me and the 2 other TOs in our community, and we just like, okay, what are we doing this month, or what are we doing this year? And then the first thing we do is the LVOI stuff, and then it's easy to slot stuff in after that. So yeah, it's half the battle is planning as a TO. So
yeah. So those are some different improvements, benefits, things you maybe didn't know that you might want to know previously. Even though we had a lot of people participate in the system last year, there's hopefully going to be more this year. And hopefully there's going to be people that, didn't get to participate last year that get to jump in their first official event. The strength of the system to me is that it plays off what TOs are already doing for their communities. And so we encourage the TOs to continue to drive on and do what they were doing already, and then just to add this extra layer as something that gives your event additional detail or additional value or something else for your players to fight for as the year goes on. And they're like, well, I got nothing to play for. My faction hasn't got anything new in a couple of months. Well, hey, try to earn some points in an LVOIS event. And, they'll go to the event and they'll be like, oh yeah, our community's the best. Why did I not go? Why was I not going to go this month? And oh, cool! I walked away with this cool branded thing that says Dust Bowl Bounty Hunters on it. Neat. It's just it creates that. I think it creates that kind of effect. I've seen a lot of positive effect there, and I encourage people to continue to use it.
Awesome. Well said. Well said.
Well, cool. I think it looks good. Just seems like improvements to me. Yeah, I love the format when it came out. It kind of slotted in where the invites of old were for Worlds, but also I feel like doesn't create that level of sweatiness, I guess. And I think the points have a lot to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As a avid football watcher, and I love the season aspect of the series, and so to have a chance to improve my score throughout the year, to have it all culminate at the end of one big Super Bowl, if you will, I love that aspect. One of the many things I missed about playing GW games and AOS specifically is there was a lot of tournaments that were like that. And so now having this in Legion just kind of fills that void. I love having, and it's nice too because you're not doing it every month, because you can only, like LJ was saying, you can only have a tournament every 90 days. So you get to have 2 fun tournaments, and then you have like a competitive one, that you can gain points at and everything. So it doesn't feel like you don't have to box out a lot of your community guys that are just be like, hey, I'm just here to play Legion because I can only play it once a month. So,
Well, good deal. LJ, is there anything you wanted to? We're kind of wrapping up here. Is there anything you wanted to promote or what you got going on next? I know you said you were judging at Adepticon, head judging.
Yes. So, what are my couple big things coming up here in the near future? Hopefully, I'll be able to sleep this weekend because Dylan hasn't really been sleeping very well at night. No, sorry, you wanted things that matter. The 8th of March is Las Vegas Open Invitational Series points. Full qualifier for Black Flag Gaming, which I'm really excited about. That's a new store that just opened up about 10 minutes down the street from me. And we're hosting our first official event there, and it's a full qualifier. So, of course, I have to shout it out because it's my event and I'm running it. And we only have 20 spots, and we have like 13 people signed up, so the spots are going quick already.
Nice.
That is the fight over Florum, because Jordan always had fun names for his tournaments, so I continued the tradition. And Florum is the planet that Hondo was a crime lord of. and of course it fit into the pirate theme of the store. So that's
Oh, awesome! Yeah.
Love
that's
that.
the first week of March for me, and we're really excited about that. Like I said, Michael Losey is going to be there. Austin Miller should be there. Jordan himself, JJ Wood, lots of fun names in the Florida community. Oh, David Zelenka, he was at our last local. He'll be there too. So that's going to be a great event. I'm super excited for that, and that'll connect me to the to Adepticon, which is the world's open event, which I was asked to be the head judge of this year. This is my second time head judging Adepticon. I was the head judge in 2023. So I'm really excited for that return to form because I really like Adepticon. It was always kind of like a mecca of tournaments or of events for me that I never got to go to, and that I did my first one in 2019, and I was addicted. It's it for a lot of people, you talked about Super Bowls earlier. There are a lot of games, obscure games that like that's their Super Bowl. I mean,
Mhm.
if you go to the event for Legion, I will see you there and I will shake your hand and we'll have a great time. But ignore me, go find Lord of the Rings and go look at their tables. Because Middle Earth Strategy Battle Games always puts the coolest stuff on that table.
Yeah.
And same thing with like a lot of like the World War II, the bolt action stuff, the countryside, the Bocage, all the fun stuff that they do, the theme boards. There's so many games that they put their best foot forward for that event. It's worth it for the spectacle. So of course, I want people to go there and to play Legion and enjoy the show and get to see all the stuff spoiled when AMG does their presentation. But for people who just like this kind of stuff, which I would assume we all do because we're here in the first place, it is worth it. Like I said, just for the spectacle and what you get to see when you attend an event like that. So that's March, and I'm really excited for those two events back to back. And then I think April sees the culmination of our local Marvel Crisis Protocol strictly affiliated league that we did that we're doing at the local store as well. So there'll be lots of wargaming in my future for the next couple months, and what's not to like.
A game store 10 minutes from your house is the dream.
I know. And I like Critical Hit Gaming, which is the store in Tampa that I was introduced to. But it's a lot harder to get to right now in my current life situation.
Mm.
And so the fact that store opened up down the street, even though, I got to put a lot of time and effort to help grow the games and the communities that I want to see at the store, totally worth it because A, it's closer, and B, the ownership is a delight. So I'm having
Awesome.
I'm very reinvigorated. I thought I'd be kind of on this downhill slide after LVO just because it's a lot of planning, it's a lot of effort. But I got back and that store hit the ground running, and we had 20 people signed up for our first MCP store league. So like I said, I'm just completely reinvigorated on wargaming in general, and Legion is going to benefit from that.
Awesome. Love that.
What else? Oh, there is one more thing because we had this great discussion about TOs and running events and stuff. And I would be a very silly person if I didn't talk about my own Discord server. Because for those of you who do not know, there is a Discord server that exists called the Legion Tournament Circuit. And this is a thing that we've been running for years that anybody can join. And you just have to find me, LJ, or Talk Polite on the Legion Discord, or on the Facebook group, or Reddit, or anywhere else that I hang out, and just ask me for an invite to the LTC server. The reason why you may want to jump in the LTC server, if you are a tournament organizer, what we have is a bunch of resources. So if you need a sheet to organize your terrain inventory, or if you're trying to keep up with the announcements about GTs and worlds and who got what and all that good stuff. If you need a guide on how to use Longshanks, or you want to be connected with people to help you make prize support for your next tournament, that is the kind of resources the LTC provides for you. So that's something that myself and Jordan from Luminous Gaming, we run together. We have, something like 60, 70 TOs that are in there that are talking Legion and talking how to make their events the best events they could possibly be. We also have people that provide resources like Jerry's Game Shop that you can talk to try to reach out to get stuff and prizes, talk to and whatnot. And then there are also there are a couple people from AMG that hang out in there, and They help get the pulse of the tournaments and what the TOs are talking about in that server, which I also think is a really important function for us to continue to do. So yeah, find me, ask me for an invite to the TO server. I will shoot you that invite, and you can ask all of your tournament questions at any time.
I will be hitting you up after that. So,
Okay,
because
cool.
I need that in my life.
Matt Mitchum. Oh, Matt, the giveaway. I forgot to bring that up at the beginning. Would you like to talk about our giveaway we have going on currently?
We're going for 300 subs. We're very close. As of recording, I think we're at like 295. So I think this will probably be the last video before. So comment, subscribe. The subscribing is not legally bound to the drawing, but if you comment, we will draw from that, and then you might win.
And check if you're subscribed.
Yeah, and it's an Amazon gift card. So
yes,
I think
because stock is fluctuating.
Yeah, and our international shipping sometimes can be dicey. So I think gift cards are pretty ubiquitous. So if you haven't heard it by now, this is probably your last chance. So I'd comment. So maybe LJ, you might have commented in the last few videos though. But
he's commented.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're in there. You could win.
Throw the odd comment out there. That is
you
true.
could win.
He's made his mark, so he's on the list.
So comment once we hit 300. It's happening. So I think that'll be by next episode.
We should be spinning by next episode, hopefully.
So
yeah
very
for
nice.
Sure. And then I just want to throw this out there. Congratulations, guys! We've been doing X&1 for a year now. We've been
wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
The whole year of talking about Legion. We did
it, guys.
Survived 2 games now.
It's crazy. So no, it's exciting. I'm glad we made it. So we've done really, other than our holiday break, we skipped 1 episode. We've really done.
Yeah, it's been almost every 2 weeks. So yeah, and we're gonna have a whole lot more to talk about here in a few months. So maybe next month, hopefully.
Yep.
So
we might go into some more shorter form stuff that will be a little more digestible with all the new stuff potentially coming out. So
be on the lookout. Make sure you hit that click the bell, all the stuff, like, subscribe, share. I did the content creator thing. Well, cool. Thanks for listening, everybody. We always appreciate it, especially all you that make it to the end. You guys are the real ones. And just remember that XNO is just one tournament organized better than this sentence was. Away. Have a good one.
Yep.
Give them your signature look of superiority.